Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you are here for an information session on the dual MBA Executive MS in Engineering and Applied Science program for at Columbia University. We're excited to share information about the program and kind of the application process and everything that it entails. My name is Ryan Lamantia, Assistant Director of Admissions here at Columbia Business School. And as you're aware, I hope this is a dual program with our partners over at the School of Engineering. So I want to introduce my colleague over there, Natasha.
Hello, I'm Natasha Stanislaus. I'm with Columbia Engineering as a recruitment officer. Thank you so much for joining.
And my colleague here at Columbia Business School, Associate Director Sarah Lemparski.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today.
And we are also joined by a rising second year in the MBA XMX program, Taewon Yoon. So please introduce.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining here.
Wonderful. And we will be here today to again present to you this program. And if you have any Q&A or questions that you want answered, please feel free to use the Q&A function here in Zoom. But we'll also save some time at the end to do some live Q&A as well. So let's, without further ado, let's get started. So why an MBA XMS in engineering and applied science? So really the two deans of both schools, Costis Maglaris and Shifu Chen, saw a growing need in the marketplace for business leaders with deep technical skills. So within this program, it is a two-year program, and you will graduate in the full two-year time frame with 2 degrees from two top schools here at Columbia. It's a really unique curriculum designed to fully integrate students in the MBA experience as well as the MS program. So it is a true dual degree program. So why Columbia Business School? Two points that I'd really like to hone in on are the community and training. So the community here at Columbia Business School is very active, very engaged. Students are always kind of on the go. Whether they're having coffee chats or attending speaker series or being a part of clubs. So the community here is very special at both Columbia Business School and the School of Engineering. So as I mentioned, clubs are a big part of the experience here at Columbia Business School. I would just love to ask you, Taewon, what maybe clubs are you involved in at CBS and how is that experience like? What is that experience like?
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone. My name is Tewan and yeah, super excited to be joining you all. So I am coming from a background in finance and tech, and I have served at the board as a board member at a Columbia's AI Club, which is one of the fastest growing club in the community here at CBS. And I'll be serving as a co-president in the coming academic year. So I am hoping to be seeing some of you in the club events. And if you are interested in joining or being engaged in Columbia within business school or a broader Columbia community. So we host a lot of interesting events to empower the AI community within Columbia and to help students to go beyond their business curriculum to equip themselves with all the latest AI technologies. So helping them through the workshops or hackathon events. We also very successfully closed our um, the AI impact competition last semester, which turned out to be a huge turnout with a lot of VC companies were involved with a lot of like funds that we have raised. So it's been a truly rewarding experience, and I'm very excited to be leading the organizations to take it even further.
That's so exciting. Thank you for sharing. I'd love to turn it over to Natasha to talk about a little bit why Columbia Engineering.
Thank you so much, Ryan. So, of course, Columbia Engineering, being a graduate school at Columbia, community is very important to us. And as shared, there's just so many different opportunities for students to engage with one another. But a few, I think, distinct honors, of course, we have are just really our faculty members, having faculty that are a wonderful mix of full-time faculty, great researchers available to you, as well as adjunct faculty, having faculty members that can easily work in the city of New York or surrounding areas, but also teach on our campus makes, especially, I think, this is true for both schools, but at Columbia and engineering, just an opportunity to make sure that there's a great opportunity to bridge that theory and practice together. And, there's over 3,000 companies headquartered in New York City. And so having an opportunity to just really learn and access from leaders in business and technology and really just gain mentorship is a great facet of the Columbia Engineering graduate experience. And so I think networking is just something that our students are constantly doing through formal settings that we create as a school, as well as just informal opportunities by nature of being in New York. And so we really are building a program that builds the expertise of faculty in both schools. And so we here have our wonderful deans. We have Shifu Chang from Columbia Engineering, as well as Malgaris from Columbia Business School. And so it really was leveraging the opportunities we have in each of our schools together. Columbia Engineering has so many entrepreneurs, so many resources specifically for innovators, but so does Columbia Business School. So why not build a program that allows you to really think about the ways that our separate institutions are able to support leaders, but bringing together so that we're able to solve today's business challenges in a really multidisciplinary way. So, of course, these are quotes from our respective deans, and we really want to make sure, again, that as technology continues to have emerging breakthroughs, that there are leaders and experts on both sides that are being built in this program.
Great. Thank you.
And these are our program directors. And so they couldn't join us today. You may be able to find them on our YouTube. I know there's a number of different, amazing events that they have supported and worked on. But Harry West is of the School of Engineering, teaches a lot of great courses on human design and innovation. And this is Daniel Guetta from Columbia Business School. So you'll be able to meet them in future virtual settings, or again, be able to see recordings. But great innovators in their own right. And so it's great to have dedicated support from faculty that are able to pull together resources from various research centers or entrepreneurship centers on campus. And so this is a little bit more even about, Ryan's able to explain about additional faculty that are teaching in the program.
Absolutely. As Natasha mentioned, there's both adjunct professors and full-time professors, so it's a great mix of people you're actually going to be learning from, people who are out in the workforce, working in the respective fields and jobs that you potentially want, along with people who have been research fellows and things along those lines. So here's just a small sample of those people who are teaching within this program. And as Natasha mentioned, great mixture of people focused on entrepreneurship or enterprise, which are two large components of this program. Kind of with that in mind, I'd love to ask you, Taewon, is there a particular professor maybe you've enjoyed studying under or a particular course?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are all, I mean, pretty much most of the professors that I have taken courses or engaged for research project, and there are some additional courses that I wanted to highlight outside of the core MBA and XMS curriculum, which is heavily centered towards to give you a really solid foundation of your studies at Columbia. But also on beyond that, I have taken artificial intelligence from the Columbia Engineering's computer science department. Tony Deere was a standout. It gives you a strong grasp of foundational topics in AI. And on the CBS side, I've taken derivatives with Professor Mark Zurak. He's a former managing director and partner at Goldman Sachs who actually started their equity derivatives research group. So So these, I think, make what makes CBS unique is that we have instructors and professors from former or current executives on Wall Street. So going beyond the textbook and learn how the multi-billion-dollar businesses actually work.
Thank you so much. So this is an overview of the structure of our program here. As I mentioned at the top, it is a 2-year program, and within the first year, you're really taking foundational core classes at both schools. So in your first semester on Columbia campus, you will be a resident at SEAS, taking their core curriculum, and you can see a sampling of classes there in the fall term. Then in the spring, you will matriculate into Columbia Business School and take the core curriculum here at the business school as part of our J term. I do want to caveat that saying you do have full access to Columbia Business School resources in that fall term as well. You know, the ability to join clubs and attend events as well. So you are truly a student at both schools, even in your fall term. Just you're taking courses there at the School of Engineering. Um, so with the first year in mind, Taewon, I'd love to ask, how did you find integrating into the CBS culture during that through the J term? And maybe what is the cluster and learning team environment like when you're taking that core curriculum?
So I am a probably a very like non-typical case to speak about. My background is was in business from undergrad. I have a CFA charter, so I exempted most of the business courses. I just wanted to let you know that there's an opportunity if you already have all these professional work experiences or educational background. So my direct learning team experience would be a little bit different from the most cases who would be fully involved for all the learning team interaction as you might go through. But I found the cluster system still provided me a larger, friendly group that does feels like a home base. It includes people from much broader spectrum of backgrounds. So I am seeing it as a highly supportive environment, and it has been one of the unexpectedly valuable parts of my experience. And it offers great connections beyond the rather smaller size MBA cohort.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for bringing that up too. I just want to address that. You do have the opportunity to exempt out of courses in the spring term at the business school. Unfortunately, there are no exemptions for the fall term C's curriculum, but do want to say that in the spring term, you do have the opportunity. If you have experience in these classes, you will be presented with exemption exams. And if you pass those, you are able to opt out of the course or to gain that cluster and learning team experience, you still have the ability to take that. So after completing your first year, you will have the opportunity to pursue a full-time summer internship. And there are two pathways that students can take within this program specifically. One being the enterprise route, going and taking a full-time internship at a startup or an enterprise company, or being a part of our summer entrepreneurship immersive through the Eugene M. Lang Entrepreneurship Center. And that is a way to pursue your own venture through this program as well. A little bit more background about this program if you're unfamiliar. This will be the third upcoming year this fall of students entering the program. So students currently in pursuing their summer internship right now are part of our second cohort of students. So kind of with that in mind, Taewon, I'd love to ask you, how is your summer internship going so far? And maybe if you could talk about where you're interning and what you're doing.
Sure. So I had started working for Amazon since last month in May, based off in Seattle office, and working on their devices team, in relation to leveraging AI technology to provide better and optimize experiences to the device customers and users. And I'm working on their tech org as a product manager, which is an extension of my previous experience before joining CBS. and I'm currently here in Sunnyvale for a week. The company appreciatively that decided to send me off for a business trip was quite unusual for an intern, but life here is a lot of fast-paced interaction and lots of learning. So I'm very, very grateful for all these experiences I'm given over the summer, and also excited to deliver some really interesting and brilliant ideas that as the company is trying to integrate a lot of AI and machine learning as part of their core initiatives, which also brings in a lot of learnings that I have like gone through from CBS and engineering for the past year.
That's super exciting. I'm so glad and that you're got to go on a little business trip as well. So I'd love to turn it over to you, Natasha. Maybe talk about the second year.
Sure. So as previously stated, you have your opportunities to really create a foundation in business and in engineering. So the second year provides you with the opportunity to take a bit of a deeper dive into the subject matter. So there are additional requirements for essentially each side of the degree that you're completing. You're taking electives that complete your MBA and your MS kind of credits so that you're able to finish out your degree. And there is also a capstone. So if you're doing the entrepreneurial track, or if you're working as part of a group to, maybe for work or for the rest of the term, you're able to ensure that you're taking dedicated time to develop those leadership skills, solve problems, and again, complete and fulfill the concentrations of each program. So a little bit about those engineering concentrations. There are different options you're able to choose from. I believe there's 7. And so each concentration is 9 credits. As you can tell, we are able, it's a dialogue, right? So if there are really classes you want to take and they may not be listed in a particular concentration, you're able to have that conversation with your advisor. But these are ways for you to get to know your peers in the engineering school, to take classes alongside them, as well as, again, completing the academic requirements. So whether you're interested in medical device design, or in AI and machine learning, or in robotics and smart machines, etc., you're able to ensure that as part of your degree, that you're really concentrating on something engineering related.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then on the business school side, you will also have the opportunity to select a business concentration, either in entrepreneurship or enterprise. And you can see a kind of a sampling of courses there within each one of those. I do want to mention too, this is independent of what you choose for your summer exploration as well, your summer pathway. So just because you pursued enterprise or entrepreneurship for your summer does not mean you need to concentrate in that for the second year to fulfill one of these concentrations. They are independent of one another. So you're not locked in. Just want to make that clear. Just want to talk about a little bit about the kind of the unmatched opportunities here that you'll find in this program in kind of in New York City in general. So students will have access to both the Morningside campus, which is where the School of Engineering is, as well as the Manhattanville campus, which opened in 2022. So really new and exciting buildings. We're happy to have the business school at. In New York City, there are over 3,000 companies headquartered here for so amazing opportunities to explore various pathways, again, in enterprise, if that is the route you want to go, or there's a huge startup scene here as well. So you think of the Bay Area as the number 1 place, but also New York City is a tremendous hub for entrepreneurship and startups. Wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the access to, and the various people and the folks that come to campus. It's, as you can see there, it's pretty well-known people out in the world. So I'd love to hear maybe Taewon, is there a particular event or speaker that you found compelling or interesting that has come to campus?
Um, So the access that we have to all these high caliber speakers here is amazing. It was way beyond my original expectations. Since we have um access to all these amazing alumni base, but also the location that we're based in does gives us access to all these amazing speakers. I remember recently attending the Jane Fraser from the CEO of Citi in a talk moderated by the James Gorman, the former CEO of Morgan Stanley. So hearing from leaders like them or from someone like Alex Karp, also another talk that I attended off campus um, for through invitation from the one of the institutes from CBS. He's a CEO and co-founder of Palantir, and all these is a regular occurrence, and it brings you a brilliantly incredible insights along the way of along with your academics and your school experience.
Thank you. Yes, we have CEOs, founders, and even astronauts coming to speak to our students. So quite a diverse mix of folks that you can hear and learn from and network with as well. I'd love to just turn it over to you, Natasha, and maybe talk about the resources available to students in the program.
Sure. So I think it's important to stress that being able to pursue a dual degree like this means you are fully a student of both schools and you have the full access of the career resources of each school. So over at Columbia Engineering, we have the graduate career placement team. They offer one-on-one career coaching, and they also create opportunities with your program and alumni resources for you to constantly connect with potential employers, with industry partners. Also, you have access to develop both technical and soft skills. So there are non-degree courses that you're able to take with them. Maybe you want to practice public speaking. Maybe you would like to attend a fun wellness selection. Or maybe you want to spruce up a particular coding language. You're able to pursue that all through the graduate career placement team resources. You're also, of course, able to take on a leadership role with that program as well. They have the professional development and leadership fellows program. So if you would like to, you can be part of the student body that creates those opportunities for their peers, and also, of course, have maybe a little extra time with those companies and leaders on campus as well. And this is all alongside the resources you get at Columbia Business School. So there's the Career Management Center where they have coaches as well as their own fellows program there to assist you with your career goals. I think it's important to stress that for both of these, as you're starting, there's a very clear and open conversation about what are your goals. So that even before you step foot in the classroom, the idea is that you have an opportunity to do that self-actualization, to think about how do you become more of who you are, and what can they build out throughout the program to help you there. So the Career Management Center, I'm sure Ryan can chime in if there's anything I missed, but there's just so many different opportunities for you to work alongside, entrepreneurs or executives in residence to take advantage of Columbia University as well as Columbia business resources like the Startup Lab or the Build Lab. And there's special resources like the Alumni Edge program and Columbia Alumni Virtual Accelerator. I believe there's also now Columbia Plus, which is available to Columbia Engineering alumni as well, so that as you graduate through the program, as you become an alum, there's still resources that you're taking advantage of. It's not just while you're a student. And again, you have resources of both teams, both centers. It's not one or the other by being part of the dual degree.
Perfect. This is just kind of a small sampling of successful entrepreneurs that we have seen come through both schools. Some very well-known companies there. There are many, I believe 10 plus unicorns that have come out of Columbia Business School. So a tremendous way to, immerse yourself in the entrepreneurship scene. I mentioned it briefly before, but at Columbia, you have access to the Eugene M. Lang Entrepreneurship Center, which is really there, to support you throughout your journey. They have resources available to you kind of no matter what stage you're at. If you're just in ideation and thinking about solving a problem, they have the necessary and resources for you to start exploring that. Or if you're all the way down the road and have created your minimum viable product, they have ways to get you engaged in the scene, maybe potentially get you in front of venture capitalists to give your pitch. So all that to say is there are ways to engage with the resources here, no matter what stage you're in. Um, and then on the other, oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say probably what you would say is that, on the other side of things, if perhaps you're thinking of more of an enterprise route, there's a great community of different employers that come to both of our schools. And again, you have the resources of both schools to leverage the networks of both schools. And so these are just a few, which is crazy to think about because these are some big players here, but just a few of the employers that come on campus. I'll also point out that some of these organizations, I'm spotting IBM, have a very strong history that started on our campus at Columbia Engineering. And so it's great to have a graduate program that really provides the career support so you can explore these opportunities at top companies.
And to kind of echo what we've been honing in here is you have twice the amount of resources. You also have twice the amount of alumni network to reach out to, which is over 100,000 potential people you could network with who are graduates from either Columbia Business School or the School of Engineering, who are, again, are in top fields in top industries that you potentially want to be a part of. I want to say that the alumni network here at both schools too is very actively engaged and want to proactively give back to our students. It's very uncommon that I hear of a student who reached out to an alum from either school and was just ghosted or anything like that. So the alumni from these programs want to help our students succeed and thrive. Um, and here's just again a small sampling of notable alumni who have graduated from both schools that you can see are in top positions at very respectable and well-known companies. Just to highlight a few here, founders and CEOs. So next, I kind of want to transition into the more logistical process of applying for this program. Hopefully you got a great overview of the program, but please feel free to use the Q&A if you have questions. We're happy to answer them throughout, or we'll have some time at the end. But jumping into the next steps, I would love to turn it over to you, Natasha, if we could go over maybe the what we look for.
Sure. I think it's important to stress that this is a unique program and that we not only are looking for, of course, the traits on the slide, we're also looking for it together. And so I think we get a few questions along the way of like who's reading the application, how it works, but this is actually built with both schools in mind. And so, of course, when it comes to thinking about the admissions process, because there's rigorous coursework from both institutions, we really want to make sure we understand your academic history. And so, I think an undergraduate STEM degree might put you in the best light for that regard. It makes it all easy in terms of thinking about what classes you've taken. But that being said, it's not required. It's highly recommended, but it's not required. There aren't any official prerequisites for the program, but we do talk about your academic history and do ask about that in terms of mathematics or computer science, data science, linear algebra, any of that is really important because we want to make sure that you can thrive academically doing graduate level coursework across both engineering and business. We also require the GMAT or the GRE, which is a little bit different than just the standalone engineering programs. But again, we're working together, we're combining what our requirements are and thinking of what helps us determine for building the best class possible. We also have a minimum work experience requirement of 2 years for the program. Most students in the program have about an average of 5 years of work experience. We know this is a little bit different again from standalone traditional engineering programs, but for engineering and business, it is important to get a sense of your work experience as we build the class. And we want to make sure that there's a clear alignment with your professional goals. And so it's important that you really express an interest in creating or joining a startup or perhaps maybe a more enhanced role in an established tech firm, or maybe you're looking to expand your opportunities as a technology product manager. So we're going to ask very specific questions about your post MBA XMS goal because we need to know and understand why this program, why not just Columbia Business School, why not just Columbia Engineering. We want to understand why you're interested specifically in the degree program and how your goals connect. And of course, last but not least, personal characteristics. We really want to get to know you as a candidate. And so we'll do so through your recommendation letters, as well as an essay that spans personal and professional promise, and of course, through your interview, which is by invitation only. And so here are our application deadlines. Again, a little bit different. If you were looking at just Columbia Engineering and now all of a sudden you see these deadlines, it's different. Of course, it's following a more traditional business school round process. So there are three possible rounds where you're able to submit your application, and applications are being reviewed on a round basis, not rolling. And so applications are not reviewed until after the deadline, and all applications and materials are due by 11:59 Eastern Time on the date of the deadline. And if you do not submit all your materials by the deadline, you're of course automatically rolled over to the next round. So for round one, if you're invited to interview, you're actually notified by early November for round one. And then all final decisions will hopefully be released and probably be released by mid-December. And then round two interview invites are sent out mid-February, with round three interview invites sent around mid-April.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And all that is posted on the website, so no need to screenshot or memorize that. Feel free to always go to Columbia Business School, which I want to mention is where the application is hosted. So go to the Columbia Business School website, and you will see ways to access the application as well as all the deadlines, requirements, and so forth. But to reiterate what we have just said, just want to go over the application requirements. It is an online application, as I mentioned, hosted by Columbia Business School. So that is where you will be directed if you want to complete this. There is a resume requirement, and that is just your typical professional resume going over your education background, your professional work experience, your interests as well. We want to get to know you as a well-rounded candidate. There are two essay questions that you will need to complete, as well as short answers, which are just your post-MBA XMS goal, which can think of as 50 characters long. And then also, we just want to get an idea of what you're planning for your concentrations. By no means, if you indicate that you want to pursue AI and machine learning on your application, is that what you have to pursue as a student here? We just want to get a sense of what are you interested in and why. There is two letters of recommendation required. It's recommended that they are one professional and one academic to address a common question. If you're unable to get an academic reference for example, if you've been out of academia for 5+ years and it just wouldn't speak to you as you're the best, two professional letters of recommendation is okay as well. There's a transcript requirement as well, and we'll require transcripts from all levels. I shouldn't say we don't need high school transcripts or anything like that. Everything bachelor's and above, if you have taken master's programs and so forth. As Natasha mentioned, GRE or GMAT. Absolutely no preference to what you submit in that regard. Always recommend students to take practice exams and see where you're testing the best and submit either or. Again, no preference to GRE or GMAT. There is an interview, which is by invitation only, and as Natasha mentioned as well, it's just a great way for us to get to know you as a candidate on a personal level and why you're interested in this program that maybe hasn't been addressed through the application itself, and then the application fee. Just want to talk a little bit about kind of funding your education here and especially in this program. There are ways to fund it as a domestic or international student as well. Want to make that clear. And you can work with our financial aid office to pursue those opportunities. Want to also address that if you are interested in merit and scholarship funding, that you do apply in round one or round two. Those are the only two rounds that students will be eligible, will be considered for merit funding. Want to also say that you by applying in either of those rounds, you will automatically be considered. So no additional steps or anything like that. Just to reiterate, applying in round one or round two will automatically consider you for that. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening to us present today. Thank you to my colleagues, Sarah, Natasha, and Taewon, for all your assistance. Want to open it up to Q&A now. If there are any questions that popped into your head that during this presentation that you want answers on, now's your time. So, Sarah, if you want to cue it up, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I was able to answer most of the questions that came through the Q&A while we
Well,
were on. So I don't have any open as of right now, but please feel free, like Ryan mentioned, to use the Q&A box at this time. Trying to think if there's anything
yeah.
common. A lot of the questions were about the application process, funding, test score preference, which we all went over. So, looks like there's another one. There's a question here about, are there any benefits to applying to an earlier application round?
Yeah, I think the benefits are, like I just mentioned, is just regarding merit funding. So I will say round one and round two are probably our most voluminous application, most voluminous where we receive applications for because of that. I think also applying early does showcase really high interest in the program as well, and we want to see students who are interested in what and why they want to be here. So those are two main reasons. But in terms of evaluation, absolutely no preference. All each round is treated equally in that regard.
Thank you. We have a great question here about the summer term. How do you go about finding the internship? Does the school help you? Do you have to find it yourself? Maybe Taewon, do you want to talk about your experience a little bit about how you went about getting your summer internship and any resources utilized at Columbia?
Yeah, speaking about of my own experience, I early on decided to go through the enterprise concentration route for the CBS concentration for the program. So I think the active recruiting season, the timeline varies by the industry that you're recruiting for. Usually, consulting or investment banking starts early, while most of the MBA XMS folks recruiting for tech um, start their active recruiting around November, and you apply either through the career management system that also includes some of the exclusive career opportunities and internship that is coming through the CBS system, but also I do apply to the other roles that are not directly offered through CBS, but while making the applications and you're preparing for the interview, there are a lot of resources that I utilize in terms of interview prep or career resources or networking with working professionals in the industry or with the company that is working uh, at uh, those working at a company that you're applying for, and all these accessible through the network that we have access as a student here at CBS and through Columbia Engineering. So I made my own applications through some of the people that I know in working in tech, and for Amazon specifically, I applied in November and did the interview in January, heard back from them for the final offer received around mid-January. So that's a rough timeline, but it does varies between the industry or whatever stage that or the situations that you're in.
Thank you. That's very helpful. And just as Taewon was saying, to reiterate, there is work that you will need to do to kind of secure it yourself, but there are plenty of resources that you're not just kind of, thrown to figure it out completely yourself. There's a good question here, Ryan, maybe you could take, or Natasha, about the 2-year work experience. Does it have to be kind of post-bachelor, or maybe if somebody's been working on a startup, during undergrad or things like that, just kind of about that work experience. I guess, like, how quote unquote strict are we on that?
Yeah, great. I think that's a great question. So, I just want to be clear too, that 2 years of work experience would be upon matriculation into the program. So, for example, if you did graduate, a year ago, but will have 2 years of full-time work experience by the time you were to enter the program in August. That would fulfill the 2-year requirement. I hope that makes sense. I had to think through that. But yeah, so if we do consider entrepreneurship experience. That again, that's to harp on what we did throughout the presentation. Entrepreneurship is a large part of this program and exploring that. So we will consider entrepreneurship, as work experience if you have, taken that before undergrad, maybe if you took it through a gap year or during your undergrad as well.
Thank you. Question maybe for the second part, Ryan or Natasha, you could kind of take, but then Taewon would love to maybe see your insight as a student who's gone through the application process. Any tips on standing out in the essay portion? And are there ever applicants that are accepted without an interview?
So
So
yeah.
no, go ahead, Nashi.
No, I'm interested to hear your feedback. I would just really quickly throw out there when it comes to the essay. I know it's a cliche, but you are the only you there is. I think when you, it's a terrible one. I hate myself for even saying it. But the truth is, if you tailor your essay too much to what you think we might want to hear, we may lose the wonderful things that make you unique and different. And so you want to make sure that you are talking about your goals. You're talking about why you're interested in this particular program. Again, Columbia Business School is great. Why not just Columbia Business School? Why not just Columbia Engineering? Are there particular courses you're interested in? Are there student groups you can't wait to join? Are there events you've heard of? Are there alumni or faculty that you've spoken to, community members, right? I think it's really important to show that you've really done the legwork on your own to think about why this program. And it should, in various ways, come across throughout the essay, but there isn't an exact rule on how that should appear. So if our student wants to add a little bit, maybe more into, some general terms, what they did, I'd love to know.
And I believe I can add on to talk about my own experience going through the application process and speaking about why Columbia or why this program in particular. Uh, I I remember being my primary motivation for pursuing this graduate level studies was the unique blend of finance and engineering. So, so I knew I wanted to leverage AI and machine learning to solve some of the interesting problems out there in finance. So Columbia is one of a few institutions that offers a top-ranked education in both fields, in both in finance and tech and engineering. So we have world-class finance at the business school with direct access to the financial hub, like the one that I mentioned earlier in the presentation about having the ex-Goldman executive in our class. And there's a cutting-edge AI and machine learning at the Columbia School of Engineering, where you get to take courses or interact with some of the renowned faculties and researchers from the engineering school, all that you have and access to both of these schools in full. So I am trying to leverage my position being dual enrolled in both schools, and there had been a tremendous growth opportunities in terms of both personal and professional and in academic experience as a whole.
Okay. I just want to tag on something real quick, but those were all very comprehensive. I think, to add to what Natasha said, just being really clear with why this program is going to be important to you and how we can help you. It's we want to be in a position to help you get to where you want to be. So explain to us how we can do that for you and showcasing all that wonderful research you've done about the school and why you want to be here. And then to tag on to the second question there, I just want to address that unfortunately, students who apply to this program, if you're not invited to interview, no student is admitted without an interview, and all students invited to interview are not all admitted as well.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. There's a question here about industry breakdown for post-grad employment. I'm happy to take that, and Natasha, Ryan, if there's anything you want to add. The exciting thing, as Ryan mentioned, this is a brand new program. We just had our first graduating class a month ago. So we do have some post-grad employment info, but it's, a very small sample because it is a brand new program. And our first cohort was, just under 30 students. So that's about, the information that we have. Based on what I have received from our career counterparts, most people did kind of stay in the tech industry. And I would say about a half to a third, went in kind of more traditional large companies, but within like PM and staying in kind of those technical roles. And then about a third of the class went into working with startups, whether that be on their own startup or, in an already established. So those roles were definitely a little bit more tech focused than maybe in the traditional kind of finance field. We had folks that went to, I believe, PayPal, IBM. I think we had a couple return offers to Amazon. Ryan, feel free to pop in if there's any that I'm forgetting, but and then
Yeah.
a couple of other startup names that I'm not as familiar with, but that folks have gone to. Ryan, feel free if there was anything you wanted to add.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. And yeah, like I sort of mentioned, this program is meant for students who want to go into the traditional enterprise route in technical product management roles or CTO level roles, really blending those two skills, but also entrepreneurship. So a thing we mentioned earlier in the presentation that you will pursue a capstone in your second year, and that could be really any problem that you want to solve. I think some of the students who pursued their capstone this past spring, who graduated in May, have actually turned that capstone project into the what they want to pursue in their entrepreneurship venture post grad. So it's a really exciting opportunity over the course of 2 years to explore problems that you potentially want to solve.
Great. Question here about, are there like any English like language requirements? I know we have questions a lot about like TOEFL exams, things like that. If somebody's an international student but has been in the US, just any sort of additional, are there additional requirements there?
Yeah, in regards to TOEFL, IELTS, or English language score, there is no requirement, to submit that in your application. Through the interview process that we have, we'll be able to converse with you and get an understanding of your proficiency there.
Great. No more open questions at this time. A pretty quiet group today, which is a-okay. We still have a few minutes, so feel free. Any last minute burning questions, that you want to put in the Q&A, please do so. Ryan, I know we don't have to wrap up quite yet, but yeah, want to
Yeah, I'll just throw
our
it up there.
contact info. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just try and kill some time here in case you have more questions. So definitely feel free to still stay engaged with us. I hope that just attending this one information session was certainly helpful for you, but we'll have more of these, more events, hopefully on campus and virtual throughout the admission cycle this fall and into the spring, kind of no matter what round you're thinking about applying for. So definitely stay engaged. Visit both the engineering school website, the Columbia Business School website as well to see what events are happening in your area on the road or on campus. We would love to meet you either again in here in New York or potentially places that we're visiting in the country and in the world.
Great. Had a few more come in. I can kind of take this one about, statistics on admissions rate. So if you look at our MBA class profile, it's pretty similar to that in terms of, acceptance rate. It is a smaller pool because it is a new program. So we don't have plans to grow to the size of the full-time MBA, but it is smaller pool, but that the acceptance rate is still very competitive because we're looking for a very unique set of individuals, as Natasha was saying, to this program, that are really, and even Taiwan was saying he was really interested in this blend of the technical with also this finance component. And so we are looking for folks that really understand what this dual degree entails. So that's just something to note, that it's around the same acceptance rate as our MBA. It is a smaller pool, but given that it's still very competitive due to the dual degree nature and this very blended program. So there's a question here about, any thoughts on maybe somebody that's not employed at the time of the application, but still has, 2 years of work experience. Someone's wrapping up 3 years of STEM OPT and will be moving back home. So, what kind of factors does that play in the application process with maybe someone that might be unemployed at the time of applying?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think it's not to your disadvantage at all, as long as you've met the requirements that we have set forth, which is the minimum of 2 years work experience. We want to get an understanding of what it is that you were doing in your role. There is one question on the application, to be candid with you, of it, can you explain any gaps in your work history? So, feel free to use that space, or there's also the opportunity to submit an optional essay as well, so you can provide any additional context around that as you want. But we're really honing in on what were you doing when you were working. What industry were you in? What was your role? Is this program the right fit for post grad? Does it align with what you have been doing? So my long-winded answer there of saying no, it's not to your disadvantage if you are currently unemployed. We just want to ensure that this program is the right fit for you for things that you want to accomplish in the future.
Good. There were a couple questions. There's no open ones right now, but maybe Ryan, just to reiterate for the whole group here, a couple questions about like test waivers and things along those lines. So can you just reiterate kind of that? Are there options for that or no?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, there are no test waivers for this program. You will need to submit again a GMAT or GRE. No preference to those scores or to which exam you do submit. There is a way to get an application fee waiver, which you could submit while completing your application. There are certain requirements that you do need to meet, so feel free to definitely submit that if you qualify and would like to be considered. But unfortunately, no test waivers for this program.
Great, thank you. No more open questions at this time, so we might be able to wrap up here. We'll maybe give her a minute or two, but Taiwan, I don't know if there's anything. It's always nice when we have a student here to kind of lend their insight. So any like closing thoughts or words that you have about your experience thus far in the program that you want to make sure students know about?
Yeah, well, again, thank you so much for having me to share about my experience. It has been a wonderful journey over the past year in a to be alongside with some of the very qualified uh, students from all over the world. Thanks to all the admissions effort. So
Mhm.
I'm really grateful for every one of my cohort members to be joined with me along this journey for another year and beyond. So I just wanted to reiterate how amazing that I found to be part of this small, rather like small size, but very intimate, very integrated cohort experience. And going through all these dual degree interdisciplinary education, both in business and engineering, gets very tough and overloaded very easily. And the expectations I would assume that you will bring in with the expectations that are not just like any other MBAs with taking your time off from work or to just be in New York for networking with a bunch of people, going to parties or to just be like traveling a lot. It wasn't, at least not the case for me, but still there are way more of a immersive experience in terms of professional career or academics, um, all over the board, a holistic exposure and experience that I get from this city and this school particular has been immensely rewarding. Uh, and um, and I'm really excited to be continuing this journey for the next year, working on my capstone project. I've already in talk and been working on a research project with the engineering professor from the Columbia's Industrial Engineering department, uh, and some more career opportunities that I envision by working in this large tech organization that really have a huge emphasis and focus on customer sessions and and immersive tech at Amazon. Especially being an international student is such a huge privilege to be in the position that I'm in right now. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm really excited.
That's so wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice for us to hear. It's, we read y'all's applications and then get to work with you through these processes and see you kind of through. So very exciting, and congrats, of course, Taiwan, on all of your success in the program. And hopefully some of you here today will be on this Zoom next year, maybe, whatever, or in 2 years. We did have two last minute questions come through that I would love for us to just address quickly. I can take the first one, and then Ryan, maybe the second one. There's a question here in transparency about, the recent suspension of student visa interviews and longer processing times. What kind of support systems are in place for incoming impacted students? So first and foremost, just want to note that, Columbia University itself is still supporting its international students. We are doing everything in our power that we can to provide as updated information while also complying, and understanding what is happening at the federal level. So there aren't any immediate updates right now. Our matriculating students who are still in the process, we have asked them to just kind of continue to do what they can. And we're in contact with them should there be any, roadblocks or things that they're experiencing. We, of course, don't know what next cycle is going to look like. And as we continue to get updated information, we'll, of course, share that, but I wouldn't let necessarily this 100% deter you at this time. But we have an International Student Services Office, or International Students and Scholars Office. I always say that incorrectly, ISSO, that we call for short, that works very closely with our international students and have done webinars and, done some, opportunities with international students to kind of connect and make sure that they're understanding what's happening and feel supported as well. So understand this is a very unfortunate and unprecedented time, and just know that, we are monitoring the situation at both schools. Natasha, if there's anything you want to add from the engineering perspective, but Columbia University and all its schools as a whole are monitoring this as closely as we can. So a very valid question at this time. Don't want to completely pivot. I know we're at time, but Ryan, there's just one quick question about financial aid that maybe let's just sneak in. If anybody needs to hop off,
Yep.
please feel free. And then we will let you all go. Thank you again for your time. But again, there were just questions about financial aid options. I know you went over it, but maybe just really quickly mention again those opportunities.
Absolutely, yes. So, if you are interested in merit scholarship funding through Columbia, please apply in round one or round two. No additional steps that you need to take. Just applying in either of those rounds, you will automatically be considered for merit funding from the school. There's also the opportunity to submit need-based grant scholarship grant application as well. Different evaluative criteria there, but that is an additional step that you will need to take. You can also work with our financial aid office in tandem to help. They'll help you secure loans or kind of help you navigate that process, both as a domestic and international students, and give you all the resources available. Hope that was quick and comprehensive. Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Taewon. We're excited to welcome you back in August and have you start the second year. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Natasha. And thank you to all our attendees today. Please feel free to contact us with any further questions you have.